Troll 2, huge phenomenon, beloved all over the world. How many years after you did the film did you start to realize how much this film is beloved?
Well, it was many years. I just started having things trickle in where I realized that it was being talked about. Because who would have thunk, you know? But I found out that people were naming their dorms Nilbog and that kind of thing. And it was like, oh, wow, this is really fun. And thus began, Troll 2 fans, and they are the absolute best. They're in all kind of genres, they really are.
Was it the director kind of allowed you the space to just do this really great stuff, or how did that come to be?
Well, basically, the director allowed us nothing because they were all just walking around speaking in Italian. They barely spoke any English. And I mean, I just remember, Lettore, quiet, we shoot. And I mean, that's about, and really, truly very little English to where most of us were, looking at each other and shaking our heads. And so there was quite a bit of closeness between us.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of fun. But basically, went in, I had read the script, but really had no idea what I was supposed to be doing with it and thought I would get some direction once I got there. But there really was none of that. It was basically, okay, the very first scene that I ever did was the trailer scene.
You're kidding me. That was the first scene?
I kid you not. And that was a little different than I recall was in the script, and so it was pretty funny. And I was like, "Say what?" And but really, it was just say your lines, and I was making up a language or I don't even know what you want to call it, a dialect.
Yeah, yeah.
That I had not even. I just off the cuff. There was Credence.
Really?
And
wow.
She came to be in that moment. Yeah.
So I can't even imagine that. So it's basically like he tells you action, and you're in there, and you're going up to the trailer and the crazy popcorn scene and all that stuff. How long was that shoot?
You mean that particular scene?
Or the whole film? How long did
the whole film. I think it was maybe 3 or 4 days. And of course, I wasn't there all the time because I'm only in so many scenes.
Yep.
But however, I was there more of the time because my son Gavin was actually in the film as well.
Oh, yeah? What was he?
Well, the infamous scene of the kid that throws the baseball, the present son. That is my son Gavin.
Oh,
yes.
In the back of the truck?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is. It's funny because when we auditioned for that thing, it was up in Park City in a huge hotel, and we went up there, and there were literally hundreds and hundreds of people just sitting, lining the walls, waiting to audition. And so we were amongst them, and we both got a part. And so, isn't that funny? But so I was able to be there on the set when he was doing his line, so I was there more than I would have been, and it's made for a much more fun experience for me, looking back even because of that.
Do you attend the screenings when you can?
I did a few.
Oh, you did a few? Was that were you ever sort of in the back of the theater and heard the warmth of the audience and all that?
Oh, definitely. I actually attended the very first one when the cast got together, and it was an amazing, fun experience. Just a small little crowd of people, but they were awesome, and thus it began.
Why do you think the film has so much resonance? Like, why do you think that? Like, do you have a perspective on what is it about the film?
I don't know. I think it has a certain innocence, if you will. Nobody knew what they were doing. Well, I mean, Claudio, obviously he had made plenty of movies, and this seemed to be his baby. He thought it was a great film, and as is seen in Best Worst Movie, somewhere between the Italian and us not having any idea, knowing what was really being communicated to us.
Yeah.
No, I mean, really, I think there were a couple of scenes where I did one extra take, but everything was like a one take wonder. Around the world, people continue to have Troll 2 parties.
Yeah.
It's so delightful. I mean, and they bring out the green food and they, dress up some of them. And I mean, how fun is that? I mean, it's so much more fun for me to have been in such a horrid movie that lives on and people celebrate it. Yeah.
So, best the worst movie. Did you end up? Was that right? Did you end up having on the DVD having an interview on the extras or something like that, or?
I am. I mean, people will get upset about that. Say, "Why weren't you in it?" And it was really no fault of their own. They did definitely ask, more than once, and I tried to make it happen, but that is when it's just such a crazy time for me.
Oh yeah.
And, but very in the 11th hour, I was able to pull it together, and I am in the bonus features, if you will.
Oh wow. So at the end of Best Worst Movie, they allude to the director trying to write Troll 2 Part 2. Have you heard anything about that?
I definitely have heard that that's in the works, and heard smatterings from some of the cast and then whatnot. Yes, but as you were saying, how do you recreate that? How do you recreate the magic? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. Was there a particular scene? Was there anything that you're like, man, I really like that?
Think about the toxins. I don't know.
Absolutely. Oh man, was that when he pulls out the bologna sandwich?
I think so. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
That's awesome. How did your friends and family? How did they feel about it? Was there any reaction from them, or?
I think a lot of my friends haven't actually even seen it to this day,
Oh, really?
and a lot of my family. I don't know. My kids, I think, were a little embarrassed about it because they would come over and they'd watch it, and it was like, oh my gosh, that's my mom, But
they probably love it now.
I think they still have that remains just that doesn't totally go away, but it's all fun. I think people get a kick out of it generally, and just because I do, and so yeah.
Oh, that's great.
It first came out on HBO, and all of those.
Really? I didn't know that.
And in fact, I was originally told that it was intended to come out on those channels, Showtime and the other ones. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And it was until later that it came out on the DVD.